everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Temitope Ogu, and with me today I have my darling husband, Oyekachuku Ogu, and we're going to be talking about waiting. We're continuing our waiting series, of which we started early on in the month. But if you're new to this channel, we talk about all things light, how we shine God's light in the world, and how God has shown his light in our hearts through his word, through testimonies, through other people's experiences, of which we're going to be sharing some today. I also did a poll on my social media channels asking people to ask us questions, and I'm also going to go through that today. But today we're going to talk about waiting. So what does waiting mean to you?
Well, I think waiting is the period between expectation and manifestation. When you're expecting something, whether God has promised you it or what you desire, and when that actually comes to pass, Bible says division for an appointed time. Right, so that waiting time, the period between seed time and harvest, that's is waiting period.
Yeah, I think I also concur as well. I've already given a definition of waiting, I think, in my first video with Moshope. So please, if you've not seen that video, go and see it. And if you're currently watching this video, please make sure you like right now, you subscribe, and make sure you share with a friend who is currently in a season of waiting. All right, so do you want to share with us like any experience of, a time that you waited?
One that really jumps to mind is after university, I finished the first class 2015. I came out of school like, I'm going to kill the world, right? I will bomb the world with the fire code. I'm ready. Went for NYSC, had a promising 1 year. It was really nice. Like, when you can feel like, something's about to happen, it's about to happen. But like after finished NYSC in November, about November to July, that when I got my first any form of kind of job, and it was not even the job I wanted, but like it took me about 7 months from NYSC, right? I'm from finishing NYSC.
And for those that don't know what NYSC is, it's a mandatory service to the government once you're done with school or with university or higher education, where it's more like a paramilitary year of experience. You go to camp for like 3-4 weeks, right? They take you through man of war techniques, and then you come out and they post you to whatever state in the country or company, and you get to work there. Just for context.
Yeah, so when I finished that 7 month period of there, wake up, it's all about frustrated potential. You can do more. Right? And coming from university with so much fire in your bones, and as if it's just staying down. Bible said that hope the fire to make it the heart sick. Right? So I woke up in the morning, I would look, I'm just at home. And there was no light. And that's when you start hearing testimonies of your friends. You want to be happy for them, means you like company, right? When all of us now have a job, it was not that bad. But make one person having job 2, 3, 4. People that used to complain together about that, you call and you just yap and say, hey, I guess bad, this. They say, God is good, you're not for me, and you're happy for them really, right? But you also say, God, I'm a God of me, right? So that period, it was not fun, right? Sometimes I woke up in the morning like I don't have any plan for today, like for 7 months, like and because that was my first time. From primary school all the way to finish university, after primary school, you go to primary nursery school, you go to primary school. There was no like a next step, right? So there was no waiting, there was no time for you. Just make it next. I'm sorry, like I passed jam once, passed everything once, so it was like go next. But this time there was no just next step, right? And I'm my God, I'm an adult, right? My life is in my hand. There's no logical next step. I could do anything. Right, so I tried on different things, but eventually God came through.
All right, and in your season of waiting, in terms of waiting for a job, did you ever communicate your frustrations to someone? I know it's particular for men, or that's what they say, that men internalize, men don't talk a lot about things. Well, I know that sometimes you don't talk a lot about things unless maybe that day you want to pour your heart out. Was there anybody that you kind of vented to, or was it just always kept inside? And did you feel like you were drowning?
Yeah, definitely I was drowning, yes. Did I talk to anybody? Not like I don't remember. Guys, suck it up, I know, I did not. I don't think, even if I did, maybe my mom, but I cannot remember, so I would say no, right? But yeah, it was a dark period. I mean, shout out to my parents. They were very encouraging. They don't make that very toxic for me. I was comfortable. I was okay. You understand? But like, even though you're okay, they will not put this much pressure on me. Go and get the job. No. They were doing okay, but the pressure for myself. I mean, I need to shine. I need to do. How would I just stay here? Blah blah blah. I've been a part of the family. So a few years back, they celebrated me. First class. I was 19 that time when I graduated. Finishing 19. Then we were 20. Kiniko. Yeah. So yeah, it was a dark season. I mean, I think I don't know, but maybe I've always been introverted, but that period I think that's when I really solidified my introverted status because I was just alone. Do not talk to anybody. Because what am I telling anybody, right? I tried to change location. So shout out to my uncle Emmanuel and his wife. I went to
Shout
their
out.
house. I went to their house to stay. To just change location. Because I was just tired of staying in the same place, not doing anything. It was a really fortunate period. But yeah.
Okay, and in terms of the frustrations, right? I know that one of the things that you have re-echoed is the fact that you graduated with your first class. Did you feel like you tied that to your identity, and when that wasn't working out, you felt like you failed?
Yeah, I felt like a failure because in school they'll tell you that first class not or don't know what matter, but like no, you're just like I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm applying to places like and I mean, what made this worse was that before I finished school, I was about to get a job in a particular company. I went for the test. I failed the test.
Did you feel like a failure? Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, because I mean, in my mind, failure is not hitting the mark, right? So I had like set goals, you get book, you write, I said, I'm working by this company by this year, I've been doing this, and 1 year has passed, 1 year, 7 months has passed, and I've not even started the journey. Do you understand? And my first job was not even where I was in my career, it was just a job, we just wanted to get by with,
And how did you get that job?
Shout out to Uluma, Michelle, God bless you, Michelle and Faith and Michelle, God bless you. So and it's good. I mean, so Faith, I don't know, myself and Faith were speaking. I don't know WhatsApp or something. I don't know how we were speaking. We were just speaking, and she mentioned that and the thing that what my session was that people thought I was doing well, I was doing okay. Yeah, they don't know, but like they were just this. How you guys make happy all together? That's what you just
I think it's also because in school you were like vice council chairman, so it felt like this guy
even up to now,
right.
people just think they just an assumption. But I don't know if they put in the pattern, but like so she was like, Nika, I don't know what the question came about, and she said that one of her friends and a mutual friend of ours, Uluma, Michelle, as I'll call her, was living in a particular role. She was looking for someone that will replace her. She said, I don't have any friend, it's something small. Uluma got a job in PwC, she's going to PwC, and just something like this thing. And all our pride still, you got me, I need the job. In fact, I went to one place, I applied, they pursued me, they said that I'm so overqualified, that I want to come and work in this, because I was just applying everywhere. So, Faith asked me, I'm like, initially, I'm like, hey, what let's I mean, I
so essentially, she asked you to recommend
somebody else. I'm gonna recommend somebody. I'm like, wait, me myself, I said I recommend myself. She said, you? Like, no, this is not your caliber, this is not your. I say, give me. And yeah, that's then linked on Luma, went to Luma, and never done it.
So would you say that obviously nepotism? People say that nepotism, knowing somebody, and people blame their lack of, would you say their lack of access to opportunities based on relationships or people high up there knowing each other? Would you say that that's what worked for you, or it was like the favor of God?
It's not the
were they close to you? Faith and Oluma, were they close to you?
No, we knew of ourselves, right? We went to school together. They were they were above me. No, in economics. Okay. We just knew of ourselves, right? And not the put in because I mean, my aunties, people that I knew people, they tried to help me in different places. It didn't work out. It did not work out. Because in fact, I don't know if I see on camera, but like, yeah, the nepotism tried for me, but the nepotism did not work. It did not work. Do you understand? So the fact that the person of God make it for charity was so right. It was definitely the person of God because like I don't know when last I spoke to fit. I don't know how we even started talking. You know, it's not as if we talk. Even up to now we don't talk. Like, so it's not as if we're talking. Also we don't talk, but like it's not like yeah, just reach out to the blues and that was it. Do you understand? So I mean, for some reason, I don't know what I was saying, but God just said I just wanted the month. Yeah.
Okay. And before, so there are two questions I want to ask. So within the 7 months of you waiting, do you look back with any form of regret? So me, I'm all about purposeful living and living each season with intentionality. Was there something that was tangible that you can touch that you did within those 7 months? As like when you look back on those 7 months, do you look back at your depressive state of not having anything, or do you look back at at least I did this, that kind of thing?
Well, it was bad about true. I think it was the only one thing I remember I did, and I'm thankful to God. And I think it was very close to when I actually got the job. Was that I did a life plan. I did a 15-year life plan. I still have it. And I did like a 4 route. I think plan A. I took time. Oh my God, I listened to messages as much. I listened about on planning, on life, this thing. So I think it was Bishop Tito Bismarck that said you must have a strategic life plan. That message, I don't know, but that message really changed my life. I think this is the last day again as well. Right. So I had plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. I knew the end goal. Plan A, I will get it through this, through teaching, through consulting, through banking. I wrote everything out, right? And
did you write everything out prophetically, or do you wrote everything out based on how you were feeling? Like I know you said that you listened to sermons and these things, so obviously the environment was soaked for the Holy Spirit to move. But were you doing it based on, I did accounting, so ideally banking, ideally was the apex of banking?
I think there's how you plan and you know how you go to use it on your brain, right? You cannot just stand. No. You walk through. If God, you work. I mean, God, the reason why you give us the brain, right? You walk through your brain. You empower your brain. Inspiration means inspired by the Spirit. Do you understand? So I remember I was doing someone and this song, this whole Noah song, they call it Song Talk by Chris Delvan. It's like a 50-something minutes song. It's long. It's many songs inside it. I was talking, right? I was just playing and I was just writing. I wrote different things. But most of the things I started doing, for example, there's something in my church I started doing, but that was years after, right? I wasn't a pastor that time, right? It was called now it's called Tailing, right? In church. They call it Tailing, right? Hymns, psalms, and spiritual song. They'll come as that was it was better in that place. I wrote it down. Right? Everything.
And you are not a pastor.
Coffee and conversation came from like many things. I was writing not like I would do in church.
Can I see? Can I see?
No. It's a very personal something. Mommy, is mommy asking that I had to hijack it. The book is actually not with me. It's in Lagos. I did not bring it.
I'll tell her.
No.
Mommy, I know you're watching this video. I know you will come through for me.
If you ever remember, she not read it, but like it was in. I remember the paper. I remember everything. It's still somewhere in my box in Lagos. I have the pictures on my drive. Everything A, B, C, and what I would do. Like I'm doing different ideas. No, writing, and it was that period I got my another program solver. One day working in the market. It was in that period.
In the market.
Yeah, so I was.
Did you learn how to cook during that time?
No, that was not part of the waiting curriculum. But yeah, that's when I walking on the road and got to me. Yeah, another program solver. That was I started myself that it was after school. It was not even in school. Nobody knew me. Nobody had staffs or anything, right? And it was called another program solver, not D. I think it was Queen Esther that wrote D and another program solver one D. She wrote D in front of it, and I don't know. This is mixing, so I just.
Okay, so I think what I'm getting from you is that during your waiting season, it's not like every single day you woke up and said, I'm going to be purposeful. You had, like Job, you had seasons of doubt, you had seasons of, would you say, shielding away from others, running away from others. And then you now had a moment that, all the momentum just built and you started to know more about what is it that you do in the future, if that's what I'm saying. So essentially, a moment's changed your life, or...
I don't think moment. I think the series is like
a series of moments.
It was a combination. It led to this thing. Initially, someone said that we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years.
How about one day?
It's the same thing. We overestimate what we can achieve in the short term and underestimate what we can achieve in the long term. So in the short term, right? So okay, I'll get a job next week now. Oh, don't worry, next week I'll have an interview. So maybe I'll get next month. Right? So because of that, I was, just I was just pushing things. Don't worry, you come next week. Oh, next week. Oh, next month. Next, before you know, 1 month has passed, 2 months has passed, 3 months has passed. Right? After a while, I just say no. Let me just start thinking strategically, start thinking long term.
Thank you so much for sharing. My next question is, when you got the job, because I know you've shared that this job was not what you wanted, but you just put yourself for it because you didn't have a job then. During how long were you in that job for?
Like 2 months. I had
Oh, 2 months.
1.5 months. Then I went to that one. Then I went to about one. I went to that one. Then finally went to first
Oh,
bank.
okay, but I thought maybe you stayed there for longer. But in those 2 months,
Like 2 months.
did you ever look at the work one day and say, "Ha, a whole first class graduate"? Like, did you have a feel of this day, like, "Thank you, Jesus"? Oh, but really, like,
Yeah, a bit of it, a
in
bit of
those
it.
two months?
I would like a bit of it, but I really enjoy what I was doing. To be honest, right? I did some social media, a bit of social media, I did a bit of strategy and financial, analysis. But yeah, it was for ready set work, right? Lagos State government initiative. We're going to schools, we're teaching,
Oh
we're
yeah, you like that kind
planning.
of thing.
Even though
So it's not an
it's not
opportunity that you would
it's
have
not what.
sought out, but it's an
No,
opportunity
that
that you
came.
love that it
And
came.
no, I never, like, when it came, it just made sense, right? At that time, I don't know, it made sense, right? I just wanted to do, and I'm not thinking about it making sense, but so, as Steve Jobs says, you can only connect it to looking backward. Looking backward, it now makes sense. But at that moment, it was just what I was just doing, like, okay, just at least I'm doing stuff. Do you understand? Yeah.
So God truly has a plan. And moving on from that, right? I've been privileged to have a first front row seat to your life as God has been doing things in you and for us and through us as well. Is there one thing that you feel that has made your journey different, has made your racing journey different? I know you say faith, but is there any other component of life or sector of life or facets of life, like this physical, spiritual, emotional, extracurricular, I don't know what other parts, financial, but is there any part that you feel like, no, aside from my spirituality, this is one part that I know has made me who I am today or has brought me thus far?
Definitely family. It has to be family. Right? Yeah. There's. I've heard stories, right? Of, it's you can wait, but waiting with pressure is worse, right? You are waiting and your family is keeping supporting you and everything, but if you are waiting and they're putting pressure on you on it, it's that just the height. Is that, I've seen people maybe waiting for a child and I'm putting pressure on you. Waiting to get married, I put pressure on you. Waiting to get a job, put pressure on you. It just makes the situation is already complex on its own, because you are fighting demons in your head. Now you're fighting demons and you're not fighting people around you, right? So, no, when you're waiting, you feel like you want to sink in to yourself, right? Then in that space of your sinking, people around you are not even pressing you more. I don't know. My family was. I don't have felt any pressure whatsoever ever. Not one. There was not one. Not even. Yeah, you have mentioned about it, yes, but there was no pressure. My parents, my family, not just my immediate parents, my extended parents, my uncle, mother, Tefomo, other plenty, mama, they really family. To be honest, my brothers, I never felt, I don't know, never just felt like I was under pressure. The pressure that I was feeling was from myself, self
Self-inflicted.
pressure. Yes, they wanted the best for me. They wanted me to listen, but like they understood that, oh, it's time has happened, right? Get some encouragement. I remember mommy told me one time, oh, you cannot worry, when the teacher is when student is ready, the teacher will appear. Just many encouraging words. My father, they would just, and did not feel pressure at all. No pressure.
Okay, and moving on, right? And I know that obviously you've said you graduated with a first class and like you're a first class student or person in general. Do you feel like there's anything that you have done that has given you an added advantage? Also, this is also an additional question to this question. Um, I know a lot of people now say for career advancement, for growth, there are certain steps you need to take. For example, you need to go and get a master's. You need to do this A plus B equals to C. When you graduate, you do your NYSC. After NYSC, you do your master's. After your master's, then you can go on without it. You can go on and live life. So, has there anything that you have done that has been an added advantage? And do you necessarily think the systems of the world are what we should seek for to be an advantageous benefit?
I'll answer the second one first. That is the technical formula, right? I think this work got to me a long time ago. Sha. Principles work, right? Um, but when you're applying principles, right, you're not applying the steps. You're applying the principle. Every time I look at somebody's life, I'm looking for the principle the person applied, not necessarily
What
the
do you mean by
step. So, for
principle?
example, um, like the popular one we hear is Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg. They did not finish school. They dropped out. They saw a passion. They dropped out from school and they went. Right. That is what happened. But there's always a context around the story. Those people were not poor. Apparently, I mean, they were. I mean, I don't know who, but one of them had a computer teacher. Computer was not a big deal that time. When you for you have a computer teacher, right? You know how to be. You for example, you're not a small person. So there are many surrounding things, right? So you don't just speak the facts and run with it. The principle was that they were ready to take risks, right? Well calculated risks, right? To achieve goal. So that's what you apply in your life. So in your life, what calculated risks can I take? Don't mean you can't drop out, right? Your situation might be different. Not necessarily means dropping out, right? So I believe that principles you apply, right? Like for example, if you're successful and you must be ready to take risks. I mean, if you're trying to play safe, right? You just be going, yeah, try to take risks, right? So I believe like hard work, diligence. I mean, all these things, right? Wanting to, I mean, doing much more than you are asked for. I mean, or required from you, right? All these principles work, right? If you apply these principles, you will succeed. But how person A applies it? If person A did masters is not a principle, right? He went he went to further his education. Like in some context, masters might not necessarily differentiate you, right? Like for example, where I work in the big four per se, you're an accountant, you might not necessarily differentiate. If you have an ICANN, it's fine. You don't need to do that, right? So, but if you want to work in like an NGOs or I mean, in an international NGO, for example, majority of them will say in this. So like it's very context specific and very individualistic. The cocoa is that take the principle from the person's story, like and run with it. Don't try and copy formula, because if you check anybody, there's no two people that are the same. Some people say, oh, stay in the company for 7 years, stay for 5 years, the reality is some people say move for 5 to 3 years. Like I mean, to be honest, it's all context specific. And personally, what have I done to improve myself? I think one of the thing I noticed quite early in my career is that you cannot be good at everything, right? Just speak in nature and run with it, right? So I very early in my career, whether I was conscious or subconscious, I subconsciously pick in it, right? I wanted to be good in the area of using this and using this, right? Because this thing will differentiate me everywhere. And I realized that, I mean, I know to self-inflect. So I realized, of course, I'm good in this area. So I just focus on that, right? So in career, that means that you can't be good in everything. Just focus on that.
Oh, okay. Speaking about good, what you were good in, were you passionate about it or you had to be passionate? Were you already passionate about what you said you're good in, or people said you were good in, or when they said
you can
you
develop love, you can develop passion. Some people don't have passion for this thing, but like if you're hungry, if you're not passionate for something, I mean, you will love. I mean, passion can be developed, right? You can grow in passion, you can grow in love for something, right? I mean, and sometimes the things that you think you like, you don't really like them. I mean, the moment that I just like, right? Yeah, just like if I mean. But the time exposure changes, there are certain experiences that will just change everything. I mean, everything you think you know. Not because I'm passionate about something, just once it happens, you change your passion. Everything will change. So I believe that you should be very flexible with yourself, right, and respond, but also being able to look back and always ask for feedback. I realize, I think I did it recently. When somebody is on a mountain, the person doesn't necessarily know he's on a mountain, right? I mean, don't know how high the mountain is, but somebody from down will know, this is very high. People around you really know something. I mean, you can't look at your own back. People around you, sometimes, sometimes they can really point you to where you are. Ask them, oh, what am I good with? They're good with this. I'm like, are you serious? And yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Now let's move into, because I know you're a pastor. Actually, like when we started dating, I think it was in 2018, and you told me you were like a pastor. I didn't really think it was that deep, like because we were both in uni, we were both head of hospitality unit at some point. So I thought maybe, oh, it's just normal school things, right? Did you feel like there was an intersection between career and ministry? Did you find it hard to juggle between your career and ministry as a pastor? Or, I mean, it was kumbaya.
I don't think I really strong. I'm not lying. No, I don't think I really struggle. It was I don't know, but I was just able to do both of them
And how did you
very
become
well.
a pastor?
I am a pastor. Um, I'm a pastor's kid, right? So I grew up in church. Like, I mean, we had breakfast Sunday morning, breakfast in church, afternoon, stay, go to people's houses. Like, I mean, I've always been around about this life, Answer it, yeah. Answer it, yeah.
What's that?
I'm so about this life.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I'm also about the.
That's so Gen Z.
I've been so about this life for a long time.
No, but
So
ATL means above the line.
no, I'm also ATL
It's like a continue.
about that life. That's what it means.
Okay. Guys, is it about that life or above the line or Atlanta?
No, it's not Atlanta. Technically. I
Absolute
checked it.
ATL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so I mean, I've always been around church. I mean, church and listen. So I've taught in choir, worship, children department, teen department. There's no problem I'm not serving. I've tried to serve everywhere. I've drawn. I've done everything. Especially for as a reading pastor. I mean, especially small reading, family side reading. You must have done. You have gone around in your lifetime. You have done everything, right? So then I mean, then when Pastor then I became a pastor of LSC, staff pastor of LSC, and staff pastor of LSC. It wasn't so.
Were you chosen? Or it's a case of you were a worker, they found you diligent, and
Yeah,
they
that kind of
just
thing.
put you.
It's a progression, and like so, I mean, I came as a worker, then started leading the prayer department. From prayer department, I became a staff pastor. Right?
Okay.
That's how it was. It was just like
All right. And do you feel like, obviously, you've talked about the fact that you were a pastor's kid. I'm not a pastor's kid. So I know that when we first got married, there are some things that I was struggling with, like how long service can be. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I want to go home. But in the midst of how long everything was, you served in different departments. You feel like those skills helped you in life to be like a multi-contextualite. Is that something that you would advise people to, like, join service units and be in church? Why should people even join service units? Why should people be devoted to the things of God? Because I mean, if you're a smart guy, you would excel in your career either ways. So why should people, be devoted to the things of God? And has that made any difference in your life?
yeah, about the benefit that serving God gives you, spiritual benefit, right? And I mean, God really pays generously. God's pay more than Google, right? He pays generously, right? So apart from the spiritual benefit, right? Even as it relates to your life, I mean, if you check everybody, I mean, not everybody, and just people in the secular world that did music and everything, the next is in church, right? The church gives you that platform to express your skills, right? That means that you don't know, for example, now, right? Pastor Daniel one day, God bless him. As well, my spiritual father, he gave me opportunity to plan YMR when it was small, right? Now YMR over 200,000 people come for YMR,
YMR means
right?
the
The Young Message Retreat, right? Over 200,000 people, right? I mean, I never thought. I mean, project management. I'm all this in a length, right? Writing letter, not before. I mean, all these things will never like that. It came, right? How to handle people, like at work, at best. How many people will I manage as a manager? At best, I'm going to manage a manager. And why am I volunteer team? It's over 13,000. Right? 13,000 people. You understand? Like, you don't get this from anywhere else. You understand? When week in, week out, you have to continue to practice the skill. Right? If you're head of follow-up department, just small. Right? How to organize, how to structure, how to do, you can from prayer department. Like, it may look small, but you are really, and what you learn in church, the discipline, the virtues, you also carry that thing to work. It's the same thing, literally the same thing.
And what would you say, like, for example, the motive of your service? I know you said is to serve God. or what has kept you going, even in the midst of, working with difficult people, working in very uncertain or volatile situations? What motive or scripture or anything has framed your mind to service that regardless of whatever anybody does, you would still serve God?
I think it's first realization that I don't know myself. Bible said, when I was talking to Moses to Israel, I said, "Let my people go, they may serve me. Let my people go, they may serve me." This is why we are free, right? If you understand that God saved your life, right? And there's illustration that I used to give, right? That imagine you are, me and you, for example, right? And the robber come, God forbid, the robber come and it's trying to shoot you, right? And I come and just block it for you, and block the sign. The robber shot me and I died, and you're leaving, right? And I have a project tomorrow I'm meant to do. Will you still do your own work? Will your money plans still go? You do everything to satisfy me, right?
And
So
family.
yeah, it's family because like no, this guy give his life for me. No, yeah, not that. Yes, amen. But you understand, like this guy give his life for me. So and that means that I have no own is for him, right? So anything to stand and play, same thing, right? Understand that see, life I have is not my own, it's God's life. So
All right, and my second to the last question is, as you were advancing in your career, did you feel that you needed to reach a certain level before you took the next step? And when I mean next step, I mean marriage now. Did you feel like you had to be established, or you had to, like, talk me through that process of your job and then getting married?
yeah, I thought that I needed to be established. Obviously, the form of establishment is not I have like houses or cars or something. But at least something enough to take care of somebody else. Yeah, you are somebody else, someone to partner with. You need in my mind, and that's something that established. But I think what gave me the courage, and because of that, there was a lot of fear. I'm already yet. Not because of emotionally you're ready, you think you're okay, right? But like you feel like and because I said there's no one fit rule, no one rule fit. There's no one this thing, right? So it's not if there's a rule that says if you have this amount of money you can marry, or if you have this and this, right? It's different for everybody, right? I am come and give an example. So no, don't marry if you have money. Most say I will marry now, be together. People have different this thing, right? So because of that, you don't even know which place to stay. Like, should I marry? Should I marry? And for a long time, you were my girlfriend. I was booking my next year. Don't worry, I'll tell you when. But when the next year comes, like, no, because and the reason is it's as if emotionally you're not ready. You could emotionally carry it, but like you will not. It's not like I don't know. I don't know. Do you know?
And I feel
There's no, and it's a very hard decision. Like when is the right time? When is that time? What is the enough? What's
And
not
I feel
enough?
like when men are thinking about these things, they don't say it out. So it was a very interesting season for me. But anyways, finish your answer. So did you feel at any point that you had to be, and what were the criteria that you kept for yourself before you get
I
married?
didn't have any criteria. I just knew that I just wanted a house and a car and sufficient something to take care of
Were
my
you
life.
driving when you met me?
No, not driving. I don't know how to drive.
Okay, because I know that I started driving before you, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you were even you were passenger king, not princess. Did you ever feel anyhow?
No, not that I remember.
Okay. And at some point, I'll give an example as well. I know that because I lived in a very strict household, so the only place that we would ever see is church. And one of the things I admired about you is when, people will be saying, forget your parents. Why would they be saying that? You're a grown woman. Come on, leave the house. Come on, disobey them. Like, you never alluded to that fact. You always believed in honor, right? And where would you say, like, this stemmed from?
My parents. I don't know. My parents taught me. Apart from the Bible and this, even the Bible, my parents taught me the Bible, told me how to pray, told me everything I know. My parents, my mom, my dad, My dad, when I was small, we go, we tell us to be doing this thing. We call it palm. I don't know what they call it. This thing, cracking your knuckles. We say, "They come out do palm for me." Oh, don't use your hand. Don't touch your stomach. Don't tell no stories. All the kind of things. It's just, you learn too much life lessons. It does different things like that.
Did you ever question your faith? And did you ever become a bad boy?
No, I don't
Did you
know.
ever like question your faith?
No, I don't know, but I do not just I don't know me. I
You never had any
some people have
temptations?
stories. Not I can't remember. People have stories, but that was sometimes I don't like.
Okay, so
my story is not sweet.
why did you like, were you ever tempted to, for example, let me bring it back home, as Christian households, you keep yourself till marriage. Were you ever tempted to you have sex before marriage?
That tension did not come at all. Like I don't know. I don't know. They say pray father, pray mother. But like yes, you have to. But like the maybe I don't know whether it's fear or decision that I've still in my heart. But like having sex before marriage was not even a conversation in my mind. Like it was not like like if I don't know, but if I was bad, if I was like to like I was going to go and do everything, right? I can do everything, but I will not have sex. I don't know why, but like it may
Is it
be.
because I feel like because you've shared the story before that it was your Sunday school. Sorry, say the story.
Oh no, that's about marriage. Sister, I mean sister, auntie.
Mommy.
I know, call her auntie. Right?
Okay.
Auntie Shay Jolene. Such a story. I was in maybe SS1 or so, right? So that's our first boyfriend with her husband, started dating from secondary school, but they broke up in university after university, but came back together again. But there was nobody else. It was just that person. They came back to marriage and stuff. And I don't know, that point in time, I didn't know that's what I wanted to do. Like, and there was no, and maybe I don't know, maybe I was too innocent at that time, but like it was just in my mind, and that was it. There was no going back.
So
I don't
never
know why.
underestimate the value that you have if you're privy to have access to children's lives.
Yeah, but that mind is so malleable because I said this is what I'm doing, and that was it.
Okay. So you didn't feel like you had to reach a certain level of career success. You just felt you wanted a house, you wanted a car.
Yeah.
But even at that time before we got married, you didn't have a house.
No, because the situation I led to this thing was, Jonathan, the situation I led to our marriage was that we were going to move. And I'm going to have a house, but I had a car.
Wait, now.
That was, you notice, in that year we got married, April, or I got the car. The problem I was going to go, I was saving up to get a house in September.
Did you feel pressured in any way?
No, not pressure. I just said, oh, when I'm married, I'll have this one too. If I have this two, then I cannot start.
And if I was earning more than you, because I remember, sorry, back to the story of we always used to meet in church. And at that time, I was working in an oil company. Assuming I didn't go for my master's, I would have been earning more than you. Would you have been comfortable, going into the marriage? Or would you have sought for a better job by all means? Or you were okay with it?
I don't know. I'm this guy answer.
Pastor Edo?
No, not Pastor Edo. Kanye West. I guess we'll never know. I don't know. I mean, I realize sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm okay with it," or "I'm not okay with it," but you never know until it happens, right? But me, now, I can stand as for now, right?
Is the answer for
now? I was fine, no problem. But that time, I don't know. I mean, that because it never happened.
Because I remember when they asked that question, we're sitting down beside each other, I just squeezed my hand. I'm sure you can't remember. I was like, oh, maybe the thing was touchy. But now you don't have any problem with me any more than you. Okay, why is that? Because a lot of people
I don't know. Maybe you just grow and there's something that just does not become priority again. That's not priority. Maybe as you're younger, as you grow up, it's just when I'm young. I mean, I'm still young. I'm not old. But when I'm much younger, you want to impress. Tell why? You don't even care. Like people see you, like you guys. I don't care. You don't. That guys, just drop off. I think that's what it is.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering, all these questions that I've asked. The last one is, as you ascend in your career and you live a purposeful life, and now that you're married, do you feel any pressure to continuously provide or be the best in your career in all facets of your life for your family and, future family, for your family now and your children to come?
And I think it's for myself. I think I've always wanted to do more for myself, like not to impress myself, because I know that when you know what God has given you and you can do much more, right? So if I'm pushing myself to do much more, right, it's because of I know. So it's not because of my family or because of my wife or because of myself. Because I know what God has put inside of me, right? And the servant with the 10 talents or the 5 talents, I know that I have 5, I've done 1. You can go to command for the many 4, right? So it's not because of what I'm married or not married. If I'm married or not, if I'm a priest, I will say engage with the 4. I will still try and find the 4 talents. So that's
all right. Thank you so much. And do you have any final words? Anything that you want to tell, young males that are watching this video about career, about marriage, about just anything?
It's a marathon. Sometimes you don't feel like it. Right? It's a marathon. Sometimes you don't feel like it. You always feel like as if it's a series of different sprint races, sprint races. Right? But it's a marathon, right? So Give it time.
Give what time?
Give anything. Waiting. Give your career time. Right. Don't make decision for the short term. Wait, make for the long term. Your first notion or the first thing that comes to your mind most likely is wrong. If you sit down much, take time to think. Don't just go with the first thought or impulse. Right. Really take time to think. Right. Think this through. Because initially, your first impulse, the thing that comes from your brain, the first thing, because especially when you're using social media, is all this rubbish that comes to your brain first, and you think it's brilliant idea. No, take time and think before you make any decision. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel
Thank
like
you for
giving you a
having
big
me.
hug. Thank you so
Bye.
much for coming. I really appreciate it because I know you're going to another administration. So thank you so much for coming on my channel. And guys, please tell me and tell him thank you in the comment section so he can come more often. But yeah, we've come to the end of this video. Please, if you've learned a thing or two, please make sure you drop it in the comment section what you've learned from this video. Please like, share, subscribe so it can reach more people. We're going to be doing our last video on waiting, and it's going to be an interesting subsection. So please make sure you stay tuned, and we can't wait to see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.